present, man. 3.5 hours, do this together, man. It starts with us, it ends with us.
Hey, no cheers!
Thank you. God bless. Thank you guys for coming.
Man, oh man, oh man, we back at it again. Welcome to Bart, the Bay Area Raider Talk. Man, we got a few things to talk about because 'twas the night before preseason game. So what we're getting ready for the preseason. I remember it was the dead era, and now it's preseason football tomorrow, 3 preseason games, and then the season starts. So man, it's going down, my friends. It's going down, and I'm excited about it. Man, another thing I'm excited about, a little bit anyway, is that them Raiders is worth some billions. They worth some billions. Matter of fact, look like they worth 10 of them things. And they done slid right behind the 49ers in worth. It wasn't not that long ago that they were just worth $500 million. Like Mark Davis didn't even have money to put on the stadium, and now he got $10 billion. But look at this list, though. You know who's topping the list, like always, is them Cowgirls. You know, Jerry Jones, he gonna make sure he stay on top. That's why they America's team, because he get that money. And he also helped the rest of the NFL get, a new stadium too. So it's important that they on top, but not by much. 5 million, well, 5 billion. That is. Look at them Rams. They won the Super Bowl. They worth 12 million, almost 13. The New York Giants, the football Giants, worth 12. Patriots worth 10.4. The Jets worth 10.35. That's amazing that they're worth so much money and they haven't really had that much success. Then the Eagles are equal with 10.3. The Dolphins at 10.25, with the Niners trailing them at 10.21, with them Vegas Raiders at 10.1 billion, and the Falcons at 9.78. It's a trip though, because let's see. Let me make sure we're on live here. Let me make sure we on live. Because YouTube been messing with my channel. Well, actually I did it. I'm not gonna blame YouTube. Been messing with because I've been going live so much. What happened was they stopped pushing impressions out because it was like I was spamming the algorithm. The algorithm was being spammed by your boy. But it's all good. So them Raiders is worth some money now, man. I don't know if I'm proud of them in one sense, but at the other, like at what cost did this happen at? Is it the same Raider experience, or do they even care? Because it could be just like Jerry Jones, like it's all about the money. He don't care that he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Well, I'm sure he cares a little bit, but at the end of the day, as long as the team doesn't lose value, then at the end of the day, he's always going to be Jerry Jones. They're always going to be the Cowboys, just like the Raiders. They're always going to be the Raiders, whether they worth 500 million or if they worth 10 billion. So you might not care about the fans like that. But shout out to the Raiders and Mark Davis and them for getting that bread. 'Cause they definitely shot up the ranks. All right, let's get into this depth chart. Now, this is really the first time I'm looking at a depth chart this year. And because in camp, starting in camp, there's a depth chart, and then, you kind of work it around. And you don't really know because you don't know if it's going to end like that, or is it the starters that they project, or you just really don't know why they stick certain players there. But it looked like what we've been doing is we're kind of showing what our starters are looking like. just like the O line. The O line really haven't had a lot of fluctuation when it comes to who they say the starters are going to be. So it looks like that's probably going to be the starters. Uh, Also, looking at the pressers, how the people come out in the pressers. Those are usually look like those are usually the starters, but we will find out here soon because Coach Kubiak said that they're going to start the play the starters tomorrow. So we're going to see who the starters are, and let's take a look at the depth chart. All right, let's start at the wide receiver position at the top. Jalen Naylor. They have Naylor starting. They want to have Naylor starting. And then behind him is Dante Thornton Jr. A lot of questions about Dante Thornton Jr. And then Cedric Jackson behind him. And then Chase Roberts. I thought Chase Roberts got released. But a lot of questions about Dante Thornton Jr. He's been injured during camp. A lot of people were saying that they're expecting a lot from him because he's one of those bubble players. We even heard it in certain spots that he wasn't even going to be able to make this roster. So we're going to find out here what's going on with Mr. DT, Dante Thornton Jr. He needs to get back on the field because the last thing you want to do is not be able to produce either on special teams or just on the field in general. So I don't know about DT. I had high hopes for him. I do see a reason to have him on the team. I mean, anytime you have a receiver that as fast as he are, as fast as he is, and he can stretch the field, then it's good for the offense. It's good for Brock Bowers because then you can't just double Brock Bowers or bracket Brock Bowers or go one on the outside, and then if you see that one on one outside, and then you go to Dante Thornton and he makes the catch, then that makes the defense back up. So it looks like Naylor is the starter in that position right now, and he's the one that's going to be able to probably stretch the field from that position. Let's take a look at our left tackle, Colton Miller. Colton Miller is the starter. Looks like he's going to be the starter this year. Well, at least right now, but I mean, I know he's probably going to start for sure. Colton Miller, and then behind him is Charles Grant, surprisingly to me, with Isaiah Jada behind him. Now, the thing about Charles Grant is, I thought Grant was going to be um, in line for that right tackle position over DJ Glaze. It looked like DJ Glaze has as another year he got it locked down that he doesn't really have a bunch of competition at that position. But I mean, to me, I think that's a position, that right tackle position, that really needs to be scrutinized. So we'll look at that later on here shortly. But I mean, there's things that there's the cause for concern over there, should I say the least. So the left guard position, Spencer Burford. I seen him yesterday or the day before yesterday or other day doing his presser. Looked good, like he looked the part. He knows the system, so he will be probably starting this year at that position until he gives it up. Like if he ends up giving up a lot of sacks or blowing coverages or not paying attention, then they're gonna probably give other people a chance. But he's a really, I mean, he has experience in the system. Kubiak also has the ability to take an average lineman and couple him with other linemen, and then they all play at another level. So maybe that's the case here with Burford. Behind him is Caleb Rogers. A lot of people are talking about him with Justin Pickett behind both of them guys. But Caleb Rogers is a name that we've been hearing a lot about in camp. We've been hearing that he is essentially going to come and take someone's spot. Could be, could be not. Looking forward to see him play tomorrow. Um, uh, I like Carlos Rogers. I just haven't seen a whole bunch from him, but I mean, he's trending up in camp. So I want to see how he plays in this preseason. And preseason doesn't really mean a whole lot to me, but for the lineman, it means a lot. It definitely means a lot. Okay, at center, it looks like we have Tyler Linderbaum, and behind him, Jordan Meredith with Will Putnam behind those two. Now, Jordan Meredith, I hope, never sees the field at center. I was curious of why he even playing center. Like, he was a guard. And Pete Carroll moved him over to center, so then that way JPJ can be the center. One thing I noticed about Jordan Meredith when he was snapping the ball all the time, and he even showed his head this off season, is he can't snap the ball in shotgun correctly directly to the quarterback. He snaps it high to Fernando, caused the fumble. That's Jordan Meredith doing that. I seen that last year. I was breaking down tape maybe about like a week ago about Geno Smith, trying to find out, hey, why was Geno Smith so bad? I called it on play calling majority, and I was like, let me go through these games and see what were the factors. And the glaring thing that I noticed about anything first was the inconsistent snaps. Snaps over here, snaps up there, snaps down here, one snap here. I mean, inconsistent snaps like that throws off the timing as a play a lot of times, and then also takes the quarterback eyes off the defense when you're in shotgun. Like, the advantage of being in shotgun is so that way you can get the ball and can still see the defense out of your peripheral, or at least see the ball out of your peripheral. So Jordan Meredith, I don't know. Tyler Linderbaum, we already know what it is. All right, at right guard, this is the position everybody keep want to bring up, the right guard position. JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson, the law firm of Jackson Powers Johnson. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm just missing it all the way around because I'm not understanding why even this is a question. So behind him is Antonio Mafi and Nicholas Henning. It's not even Grant, I mean, or Rogers behind them even competing. So do we even know who Antonio Mafi is like that? I don't think we know him like that enough where he's gonna take JPJ's spot. Some people were thinking maybe Grant was gonna take his spot. I mean, Carlos Rogers is gonna take his spot. I think JPJ is better than Burford and Caleb Rogers. I think JPJ is gonna be just fine. Hopefully, when the season start, all this JPJ talk subsides, kind of, and then it's just gonna lay dormant until something happens. Maybe like if he gets concussion, hopefully he doesn't. Then people, I'm just not understanding why people don't like JPJ like that. All right, at the right tackle position is DJ Glaze, Mr. Glaze himself. So the right tackle position it's been a foregone conclusion the last couple of years that Glaze is his position. No one's challenging it. But Mr. All Five Positions, Trey Zoon the third, is slotted behind him. That's interesting because coming out of college, a lot of people were saying that Trey Zoon, his arms was too short. He'll probably be a fairly good guard, but they have him at right tackle behind DJ Glaze. DJ Glaze better watch out. He better not mess up because Trey Zoom, I think he's going to be probably the first lineman off the bench. And like I keep continually saying, if he comes off the bench and he starts somewhere, I don't think he's going to give up his starting position once he grabs a hold of it. I think he's going to just stay on the field as long as he can. like whether he play here, there, or anywhere. But right tackle position now, it gives him some time to, learn that, and then eventually maybe be the heir apparent to Colton Miller. But right now, we have a fairly young Miller. He's just now turning 30. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. All right, let's go to the tight ends. Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. And then behind them is Ian Thomas. And then Carter Runyon is behind him. Yeah, we brought in Ian Thomas to be a blocker. So I know, and he can catch. So I think he will get some passes this year. But we know that he's brought in to catch. You know, pretty much. Brock Bowers is Brock Bowers, and Michael Mayer is Michael Mayer. So that position is pretty solidified. Everybody's kind of comfortable with that. No arguments there. Now, at the other wide receiver position they have starting is Jack Besh. Now, this is second year. Being a second round pick, it's a lot of money on the floor with him. So it's like today, this has got to be the year for you, bro. This has got to be the year. This has got to be the year you got to kind of make a step up. He had 20 catches last year, 29 targets, 200 yards, over 10 yards per reception. Not bad. Good blocker. In this Kubiak system, you're going to need to block as a receiver. Like they say, no block, no rock. So he's going to earn his way on the field. Let's just see what he can do because he got to turn that corner. Because right behind him is that Malik Benson guy, 6th-round pick, who's been making strides. A lot of people have been saying that he's going to be good too. So he's essentially just making steps incrementally, making catches, becoming a favorite target, and he just got to work on a couple things. I think he just need to work on his crispness of his routes. But I mean, like I said, that's not something that can't be done. I think that's something that can be done just with repetition. But at the end of the day, the routes ain't got to be super perfect, just as long as your timing is right. You don't want to give up no keys though to the DB to know when to break on the ball either. So, like I said, I think he'll learn in time and experience how to, matriculate that. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Malik Benson. I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow too to see how he get down. I like him because he is a gamer. He's a gamer. I like to see him. He's one of them players that got game speed. Okay, the other receiver, Trey Tucker, but they got Derek Young and Philip Dorsett behind him. Dorsett is a veteran. Derek Young is a name that's been popping off. He's a special teams player, but it looks like he's gonna get a little burn at receiver. Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker is going to be the veteran of this room. So hopefully he decides he's going to have a breakout year this year, go from about 700 catches. Maybe he can get over 1,000 yards. That'd be good if he can get some targets. Between him and Naylor, they need to get a significant amount of targets, so that way Brock Bowers is not the main target. Because if teams start focusing in on him and don't have any respect for anybody else, eventually was going to catch up with Brock Bowers. Maybe not this season, maybe not even next season, but it's going to catch up with him eventually. And you don't want it to catch up with our receiver, with our tight end, because he'll be up for a contract, or he'll get a contract, and then the following year, the game they catch up with him, and then we're going to be like, we just spent this money on him. So looking out for Trey Tucker and Naylor to take some of that pressure off of Brock Bowers. Okay, here's the position of the off season. QB1, Kirk Cousins, and then QB2. Surprisingly for me, it's Fernando Mendoza and Aiden O'Connell is third. I don't know. Maybe if that's because Fernando's going to get a lot of playing time in the preseason before Aiden O'Connell, uh, but a lot of us was in the school of thought of, okay, well, maybe Fernando will be the third string quarterback, so then that way Aiden O'Connell comes in the emergency if something happens to Kirk Cousins. Knock on wood, if you with me. Hope he don't. Hope nothing happened to Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins, first string quarterback, QB1. I mean, this wasn't a surprise to me. I don't know why this was even a surprise to most people. Maybe because people was hoping that he was the QB. I mean, hoping that Mendoza was going to be the starter. The new toy, I guess. Everybody wants to play with the new toy, but I don't think Mendoza's ready yet. Not for the level of offense that we're going to run. I mean, like if he had to come in, I think he could play it, and we would yield about 3 or 4 wins. What's up with you, Webb? We would yield like 3 or 4 wins. It'd be right in line with the what is it, Webb? 25, 82, and 2. The average wins by the quarterback that starts, that's the number one pick, is 3.7 wins. So it's between 3 and 4. So let's say 4. So I think we'll get like 3 or 4 wins if Mendoza starts. So I like where he is right there behind Kirk Cousins. I kind of knew Kirk Cousins was going to start. That's why they brought him in. We're going to see what Mendoza look like tomorrow. I'm hearing a lot of scrutiny is going on Mendoza. You know, a lot of people think he should just be playing because he's the number one pick. Some it's just like he's simply not ready because he was a product of a system. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Me personally, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. All right, let's get to the running backs. Ashton Genty starting, and then Mike Washington Jr., bad intentions, M Dub, and then surprisingly Dylan Labe, the third stringer. And then you have Roman Hemby and Brian Ongubawale, Ogun Ogunbowale, Ogunbowale, Dare Ogunbowale. So Roman Hemby is a name that we heard a lot of. You know, a lot of people are hoping that he makes the squad. But Dylan Lobby, people are trying to figure out why is he on this team still? How come he ends up with a roster spot? Some players just got it like that. You know, I think sometimes like the coaches like them, they bring something to the table that a lot of people don't bring. Um, Locker room wise, it don't necessarily have to translate on the field because Lobby is not like the world beater on the field because, as you remember, he started his career out with a fumble. And so that was kind of tough because he didn't really get no more burn after that. So he definitely gets burned at the special team position. So he will show up there. But first string running backs might get some carries. Might get some carries. All right. And at the fullback position, Connor Haywood, son of Ironhead. Boy, that's a heck of a nickname. Ironhead, Craig Haywood. But Connor Haywood is starting fullback. Patrick Gerd is the backup. So that's going to round out our offense. I think that's pretty much our starting offense for real, though. Like, just overall, that's our starting offense. Like, Naylor, Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, JPJ, Blaze, Bowers, Besh, Trey Tucker, Cousins, Ashton Genty, Hayward. I think that's going to be our starting lineup going into the season. If anything changes, it's going to be if anything changes, it's going to be Spencer Burford for Caleb Rogers. I don't see any more. I don't see any more movement on that O line. I don't see no more movement on the offense than that right there. I don't see Malik Benson taking over Jack Best's spot, no matter how well he plays. We definitely need to see what Jack Best is going to bring to the table. Yeah, I'm not seeing no more movement anywhere. DJ Glaze is even going to stay a starter, no matter. He ain't gonna give up that many sacks in the preseason because he ain't gonna play that much. All right, let's go to the defense. The defense. The defense. What's up, y'all? Okay, we got Max Crosby at 1 DN. Then we have Tonka Hemingway, Butler, then Quiddy Pay on the edge. So Max Crosby behind him is Malcolm Kuntz and Jafari Harvey after him. So Malcolm Kuntz is a strange thing here because he's on his second prove it deal. And so now he has to prove it, or he ain't gonna be really getting. It's gonna be hard for him to get the money that he's getting now. So he's gonna need to produce this year. But he's backing up Max, and I don't know how much time he's gonna get off the field. But maybe this is like I keep saying to you guys. I might have to take my own advice. I'm not so much caught up on the starters, other than as much as I am about the packages. What package do you thrive in? So when they need certain situations down the distance and they need a certain package that can cover it, are you on that package? Are you able to do what you're on that package to do? Like Tonka. You can see Tonka playing on the third down because he gets to the quarterback. But now, I mean, he's playing well better and he's actually going to be a threat in the run game. But like he said, you got to be able to stop the run to get to the quarterback too. So it's good to see that he's got that mentality, and hopefully he's trying to be an every down D tackle. So behind Tonka is Jonah Lalu and JJ Pegues. That's thick right there. That's a lot of you guys have a little bit experience and everything. So JJ Pegues, Lalu, Tonka Hemingway, you can probably rotate them guys. Adam Butler, I kind of felt like he was going to start. Guy that I was like, I'm waiting for him to show up too, because Adam Butler is one of those players that he does things, but he doesn't get the stat for them, or he ends up helping Max get stats or help another player. How much Booker the fourth? Benito Jones, who we brought in, then Brandon Cleveland deep on the depth chart with Craven Mai. So the thing about it, we haven't heard a lot about Brandon Cleveland. And I've been saying this the whole time. I haven't heard a whole bunch about my man. So I don't know if he's going to get any reps or anything like that. Might not make the team. I don't hate to say that, but I just feel like he might not make the team. But we're going to find out here shortly how much playing time he's going to get. Okay. So on the edge, we have Quiddy Pay, and then we got mental reps, K. Ron Crawford. And then behind him is Brennan Jackson and Sion Sloan. Now, I'm kind of shocked about seeing Sloan because he's been trending, but I think that's a player that can move up. I think he can also maybe kind of play backup linebacker, maybe, because the linebacking core that we have right now, which is not it. It's definitely not it. Beyond the starters, it's the drop off is like Grand Canyon drop. So I don't know, but seeing Sloan is fourth. Let's see. So got Ron Crawford behind Quiddy Pay and Brennan Jackson and Cian Sloan. So we're gonna see a lot of those guys in preseason for sure. I don't know about so much about Keyron. He's a who's who. Today he had a sack, but I'll be wondering where he at sometimes. Let's look at our linebacking core. Kobe Dean. You got Tommy Eichenberg behind him and Sagun Olubi. And then Buddy Johnson behind them. See, it's just like these linebackers, like, we got to cross our fingers that nothing happens to 7 or 17. Nothing happens to 7 or 17. because at the other linebacker is is Quay Walker. He got Cody Lindenberg behind him, and then Cameron McGrone and Xavier Sore. Players that I don't know who they are, basically. I don't know how good they are. I don't know what they do. I don't know what their specialty is. I don't know what their go-to is. Nothing. So maybe we'll see some of these guys in the preseason. Let's look at the cornerback position. E. Stokes with DCAM behind him and Jermod McCoy third. Now, do you think DCAM is outplaying Jermod or is Jermod third because they're trying to just bring him along slowly? I think it's more the latter than the former. I've heard DCAM is doing okay too in camp. I don't really put a whole lot of stock into what I hear coming from camp because sometimes that stuff don't translate to the field. And then just because it translates to practice, don't mean it translate to the game. And then just because it translate in the preseason game doesn't mean it's going to translate to a regular season game. So I'll give it like 25 to 30% credence of what I see when it comes to that. But and then the second corner is Darian Porter, and then Hezekiah Mathis, and then Anusium. I don't even know what Chigozie. So here's the thing: Darian Porter is another wide receiver turned corner, like Masses. He just has a little bit more experience. I think that we're starting experience over ability. And I don't have no problem with that because a lot of it has to do with lining up. Like if you can't line up in the right spot, the play is already lost. The play is lost if we can't, line up. Like it's like losing the rep before it even starts. Like, that's not what we want to do. What's up with y'all, man? Where everybody at? I guess the Raiderverse is full of people getting ready for um this game tomorrow. I ain't gonna be. I'm not gonna do the game tomorrow. Nobody's showing up. Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. All right, let's take a look. So we have Eric Stokes, Darian Porter, Hezekiah Masses is playing behind Porter. Teron Johnson is the third corner, the nickel corner. And then Greedy Vance is behind him. I love that name. And then Caleb Alford. Greedy Vance. Kind of been doing, kind of flashing a little bit, which is good because I hate to lose him in the shuffle. Ron Johnson, definitely we need a veteran out there in that nickel position. So I just gotta get my algorithm back. I went live 68 times. You got to divide that by two. So let's say 32 times last month in the last 28 days. So YouTube took it upon themselves to say, oh, he's spamming. That's why I haven't been going live. This was like my first live in a couple days since Friday. And then I want to go live on Friday again, and then possibly even tomorrow for the game. So I'm like, so that's why I kind of been letting it breathe a little bit. It says it's going to take like 3 weeks 3 to 4 weeks for it to recalibrate. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, but thank you for making the business decision. Well, you said you made your business decision, so I definitely appreciate you, brother. So let's see. Here we go. The free safety position. This was a shocker a little bit. Isaiah Palomao starting at free safety and Trayton Stukes is behind him with Tristan McCullum behind him. Now, this is something I was saying about Palomao at the free safety position. He got torched so much last year that he kind of got his welcome to the league in that position deal. Like legit, teams were just scheming to run players right by him, and then not to mention the kind of coverage we were playing was kind of off anyway. So kind of left that man on the island. But when you get burnt all year long, you learn something. Just like Darian Porter is probably going to be better this year than he was last year because of how he was getting done. Same thing with Paul Mall. Every position that he played, he was getting progressively better, especially at the strong safety position. But our strong safety position is locked down by Jeremy Chin. So I was surprised to see him there, and it just tells me that Stooks maybe not ready yet because the athletic ability can always catch up with the, the know-how. You got to know how to. You got to know all the plays and all the coverages and all the alignments and all that stuff. So I think it's just a lot for him to understand at this point. Not to say that he's not going to be the starter one day, but I just think it's going to give Paul Malo a chance back to the old letting the veterans start. Same thing with Burford. Same thing with Porter. You know, make the position theirs to lose. Because then once they lose their position and they don't get it back, you know what that means. We probably gonna replace you. And plus this is a contract year for Paul Mall. I believe it is a contract year for him. So mm, he's gonna get his chance to show up and show out, which I think is good because between him and Jeremy Chin, that's solid. As long as we don't get no passes thrown over our head. And that could be something that could be arranged by having, I don't know, a scheme. Yeah, and we'll leave it at that. So behind Chin is my boy, ooh, my boy Dalton. Excuse me. Let's see, Dalton, my boy Dalton. That's the player that I'm watching all the time, y'all. I'm always watching Dalton. I like Dalton a lot. Dalton Johnson, and then Devin Lafayette is after him. So Dalton Johnson having a quiet camp. I hope he's learning a lot. Essentially, eventually, is going to be trading Stooks and Dalton Johnson in the backfield in the deep secondary. Going to take over for Chin and Paul Mao. I think they're going to be a better tandem than those two. Although I think these two guys are going to be pretty good, and as long as we don't get beat deep. We try not to get beat deep often. And then going to special. So this is so similar to the offense. I think this is our defensive lineup. Max Crosby, Duncan Hemingway, Adam Butler, Quiddy Pay, Dean Walker, Stokes Porter, Johnson, Almao, and Chin. I think those are our starters. I think those are our starters right there on defense. Like this is a depth chart right now, tentatively, but I think this is our starters because it kind of looked like this all camp. So let's go to our special teams now. You know, AJ Cole's that punter. And then so the kicker is Matt A with the G being silent. You know, he's edging out uh, Tokyo Toe, Kamsei Masuzawa. I mean, I heard today they both missed field goals or whatever, whatnot. But Matt A with the G being silent hit like a 55 yarder, hit a 54 yarder. Like I said, I don't care who kicked the ball. Uh, I'm looking for 54, 55, 56, 57. I need your range to be in there. 58. Your range gotta be in there. That's the new standard now. Like consistently at those distances. AJ Cole's a holder, long snappers Alex Ward, Tyler Dunn's Kazansky. So they got competition there. So they have kick return and punt return as Trey Tucker. On the kick return, they got Dylan Lobby, and on the punt return, they got Jermod McCoy. Um, Anything to get the ball in Jermod's hand because he's a baller. So let's just give him a chance to kind of, get a feel for the game. But I don't know about Trey Tucker starting and kick return and punt return. We already thin that wide receiver, and that's the last thing we need to do is have him not like he'll be hurt. I would hate for him to get injured. I definitely would. I think we have other guys. I think we can put Malik Benson back there. Um, I don't know. Dylan Lobby was okay. I think we could just put some of them wide receivers back there. Usually you put the wide receivers back there to do the special teams. But I'm not seeing a bunch of different guys that could really do it like that. So it might be Trey Tucker. I don't know. Another chance to get him the ball too. It's not like he's gonna get the ball a lot too. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Webb, about that? About this depth chart? Anything on the depth chart kind of have you like scratching your head like, what are they thinking there? Because I can kind of see what they're thinking with this depth chart. And like I said, I think those players are essentially the starters. They're essentially the starters. So I'm with it. I'm with it. I like it. I just want to see what kind of product we put on the field at this point. That's what I want to see. See what you're saying. Let me see what you're saying, brother. Depth chart is vet friendly at this point, but I firmly believe that it's subject to change. Yeah, we have one undisputed position. One? I think a lot of them is undisputed, really. Let's see. On defense, let's see how many people that kind of could lose their position. Adam Butler? No, I don't think so. Unless we trade him for Vita Vea, which don't look like it's happening. Porter might lose his position. Mao at some point, maybe. And I think that'll be probably more a packaging thing where you have Stooks on the field and you can have Paul Mao and Jeremy Chin on the field at the same time, like a dime. I don't know. It's good with my brethren. Hit stick. Triple salute to you, man. Low key, my starting wide receivers would be Brock, Tucker, and Nader in the slot. Okay. The new kickoff return rules kind of favor running backs over wide receivers, but I still prefer wide receiver in return points. Why do you say that? I never really thought about that. That's a good point. Why is that? Because the wide receiver before used to get more steps than a running back, and the running back has more explosive speed on the shorter distance, and then not only that, the ability to take a hit or to make the first man miss. It's a good point. I don't know. I have to pay attention to that. Mm. What are you guys thinking about Max, man? Max and got into a chunkum fest with Kirk Cousins, which I love, by the way, because anytime your quarterback step up like that, like I don't think I've heard anybody talk about that they stepped up against Max. So I liked it. The thing about it is now that they got suspended was another thing. I think that was Coach Kubiak sending a message to the team like nobody's above correction. Like we're not going to try to have this going on like all these different penalties and stuff like that. Like I would like to see our team be more disciplined because penalties come from a lack of discipline. We said we want our players to play at 100 miles an hour, but we want them to play discipline. So I'm interested to see because they said Max is to be determined tomorrow. Not such a big deal because I don't necessarily want our starters to be out there a long time, especially mess around and get injured for a game that don't count. I'd rather them play one play in a regular season game and get injured than play a dozen plays or 40 plays in this preseason game and get injured because at least the game they got injured in count for something. So, what y'all think about Max habitual line stepping? Do you think it's a problem? Is he going too far with it? Let's see. Kickoff blocking makes it more like a run play to me. It's not a run after the catch anymore. I can see that how they block it up because the guys on the line are closer to each other. I can see that. Low key, Kirk Cuzzo, big dog, bro, stand on in type way. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I've been pro Kirk Cousins ever since April 3rd or whenever we signed him. We did a live April 3rd that hey we got Kirk Cousins to come in here to win right now. All we gotta do is get our own line together, which we did. We went out and got Tyler Linderbaum. So, mhm. So what are y'all looking forward to tomorrow in the game tomorrow? No Dante Thornton. But what are you guys thinking? Because now I remember I was telling you guys about this quarterback competition that was not no quarterback competition. Ben was trying to tell they're not going to split up the games and see who's going to play the best. That's just not how that goes. So even before they went into camp, they said, "Hey, Kirk Cousins is the starter. Kirk Cousins probably going to play a little bit tomorrow, if at all, and then Mendoza's going to come in." And I hope everybody don't lose their wig talking about, "Oh my God, look at Mendoza, he playing so good." Like, hopefully he plays well enough for us to see some progress. But at the end of the day, he don't go out there and be perfect, like 8 for 9 and 200 yards and a touchdown. Then people gonna be like, "Oh, he's ready." He's ready for like a preseason game. Preseason game is almost like a college game to me. It's like a high level college game. Because a lot of those players, they are just fresh out of college, trying to earn a position in the NFL, maybe 1 year in, 2 years in, not a non-starter yet. But it's like a high level college game to me. So I'm not expecting a whole bunch out of Mendoza. I think they say he threw his fourth pick this offseason, fourth one. They counting them now, I guess. I'm not too worried about him. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about him about, well, it's because he was a system quarterback or he can't read coverages. And in college, he didn't have multiple reads. And I'm like, I don't even know too many players in college that read like 1, 2, 3 check down. Like, I'm not really thinking quarterbacks are that advanced in college. But my problem is with Mendoza is this is just my little problem that I have with him is the fact that he's kind of really, really hard on himself. And the thing about it, I'm not really knocking him like that because I'm like that too. Like you're so in your head, you're so cerebral that you're trying to break down where it went wrong so you can correct it. But the thing about it is the body language looks off. So what happened is as a quarterback, your body language matters. Just like your attitude matters. And so you gotta walk with a certain kind of swag. You gotta um, say the right things and lead, no highs, no lows. So I think his body language is saying that he's doing a lot of thinking. I think the guys respect him because one thing I have heard a lot about in camp is when he does make a mistake, he makes up for it. And that's the thing I kind of noticed about Mendoza is he's the type of quarterback that gets better as the game goes on. And that's what you need, especially in a Raider quarterback, for us to get better as the game go on because a lot of our games are won in the fourth quarter. It's rare that we're winning at halftime and we're holding the team off. That's rare that we're doing that. His stick said, for real, a healthy Kirk Cousins got dotties. Bro on that mode. Yeah, he on that mode. And he got dots. Yeah, he do. I'm trying to tell people. I know I was one of the first, if not the first, that was like, I don't know why y'all hating on Kirk Cousins. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the very few. I know some people jumped on the bandwagon about him because they don't like Mendoza. But I'm just saying, all things aside, Kirk Cousins threw for 4,000 yards 7 times. Like, that's not just something you kind of just overlook. You don't overlook that, especially when he's been consistent his whole career. Well, he was hurt these last 2 years. He was hurt last year. Oh, he's coming back from an injury. Yeah, they were playing games with him, and he only started like what was it? Last 8 games, went 5-3 or something like that. Maybe even 5-4. But whatever it was, he had a winning record, won 4 in a row. And I'm like, you can't ignore that. And then they talked to him, and he was like, "I'm happy. I'm getting my confidence back off my injury." And from the situation that he in. So then when he left there and came here, he knew ahead of time that we were going to draft a quarterback. Unlike when he went to Atlanta when they gave him the keys to the Lambo, and then come to find out he went outside to get in the Lambo. It was somebody else in the Lambo because they got a set of keys too. He was in the passenger seat, but he was in the Lambo though. And then eventually he started driving the Lambo. Then he wrapped the Lambo. He wrapped it, and Kirk Cousins had to come and drive and had the winning record, saving them. But the funny thing about all that is just to show you how inept they were. They lost Kirk Cousins as the quarterback. The coach lost his job. GM lost his job. Michael Penix lost his job. Now he got to earn his job back. He's over there playing against Tua. And then both of them so nicked up. I think they brought in Riddler. Shows me that they were inept. So yeah, Kirk Cousins is gonna be him, and they better hope the Raiders better hope the league better hope that Kirk Cousins don't come out acting a fool. Like Kirk Cousins usually shows his personality, but he don't really show it this much this early. Like he came into camp with that swag. Like he knew that he was going to be the number one, and I knew he knew. That's why he was like, "Well, as long as the best player plays, not because y'all got this guy number one, but make sure the best player plays because he know by far he should be the best player. Like just on experience alone. Like you can't expect Fernando to come in the off season and learn this offense like that. Not even to the point where he know where everybody goes. Webb says the Max Act might elevate Max, but it elevate anyone else on also. But is it going to elevate anyone else on this team? That's a great question. See, you already know where my mind is right there because you know I'm already like he's gonna think he's doing that to get his cell phone level. I do. I really do think he's doing that to get his cell phone level. A second, but at what expense? That's the question. Whew. That is so much better. Yes, that's better. So yeah, at what expense is Max doing that? Max is exposing this boy Glaze. I mean, like, it just needs to be done. It just needs to be done because if not, they need to get him up out of there. And I like DJ Glaze and everything, but you can't, in this Kubiak system, you got to be able to block a dude one on one, like grab him and hold on to him. And if your feet ain't moving, bro, they gonna get around you, and that's gonna be an issue. And we don't need that issue. So you're right, Webb. At key, I mean, at what expense? Low key, I mainly want to see all of our rookies and second year guys, even though this is vanilla overall in the preseason. Yes, me too. I want to see if they're able to do the fundamental stuff. Get separation, as everybody like to use. That's everybody new word this offseason. Separation. He's not getting separation. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Max needs to know his own when he no, I said Max needs to know on his own when he's going too far because almost anybody else is going to tell. Ain't nobody else going to tell him. Almost nobody's going to tell him. Right? It even got to the point where the quarterback had to because he clipped his arm and anything. And granted, something could have happened though. For real, you could have tore a rotator cuff. Could have hurt him if he threw the ball and his head hit the helmet. AOC got injured like that and was out 10 weeks. Throwing the ball, hitting the helmet, and that would have just made everything really, really bad. So for us, if Kirk Cousins would have got hurt in practice by Max Crosby. So yeah, you're right. He gotta know, but somebody I don't know. I don't know. If I was a receiver playing against him, see the thing about it, you can't crack block these guys no more. So I would have been trying to crack block, Max, and I would have been like, keep your hands off my quarterback. Like I'd have did that just so the quarterback can have confidence in me. That's the type of receiver I was. Like I was the type of receiver that I was. The quarterback was my best friend. The funny thing about the quarterback that I had though when I was playing in West Virginia is um, he was from Oakland too, so it was even easier for me to be like, we all the way over here on the East Coast, and you know, quarterback is your best friend. As the nicer you are to the quarterback, the nicer he is to you, right? It says Max stayed popping it, whether it's practice or not. Bro stayed pedal to the metal. Max on go mode. He is. And that's the thing. It's hard for me to just say turn that off because it's like telling somebody to turn their hustle off. But it's that fine line. And I know that if something don't go right this year, they're gonna blame it. They're gonna start blaming it on this. Look at him. He's bigger than the shield, or they're gonna say that he's something. They're gonna point to this for sure if things don't work right. Yeah, that's what always mean I went too far, too far, too far, and that's what ends up happening to Max. He went to the principal's office, like they really sat him down. So I don't know, man. So what are y'all expectations of the game? Not to see the starters. You want to see the twos and threes. I'm with y'all on that. I want to see us look competent. I want to see us stop that offense. Because everybody gonna be talking about how well that offense played over there last preseason game. They already got one preseason game under their belt, so they kind of got some momentum on us. But I like to see how our defense responds. Of course, we want to see our new look defense. How often are we gonna be in the 3-4? Is mental reps gonna play? Well, is Keyron gonna be playing, or is he gonna be taking mental reps? I want to see our defense gel. I do. I really do. Say Max is to be determined. I'm thinking he won't play. I'm thinking he won't play. There's no need for him to play. Matter of fact, probably a lot of the starters should not play. Maybe a maybe a maybe a maybe a series or two. Like Pizzle said. Pizzle said, "Hey, they need to be on the field till they score a touchdown." And that used to be how it was in the old school too. And I do agree with that in the old school in that fashion. But nowadays, just it's just so weird that players get injured. I'm like, it ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. But you should be able to go out there and score a touchdown fairly easy on the twos and threes if you a starter. Madden and Flores didn't deal with shit like that in the past. It was handled in house. Yes, for sure, it was handled in house. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, mess around and put a bounty on that boy head. Yeah, be then like cut that boy, cut him down the size. You see, DJ Glaze ain't got him because when Kirk Cousins got into that fight with Max, DJ Glaze should have been the first one over there. Because you the one getting the sack for one. So you're the protector on that side. So continue to be the protector. JPJ, he with it. JPJ is with the function. Yeah, definitely game plan him. And I thought that's what Kubiak meant when he was saying that they got a plan for Max in practice. I thought they were just going to be like, well, it's just Max being Max, and we got to find a way to work around that because he's just not going to stop, and he's going to only make us better by doing that. Well, I guess not only because if he mess around and hurt the quarterback, that's a situation on a bad situation too. So I don't know. To be determined if Max is going to play tomorrow. I don't care. I don't care if he play or not. I don't think he really should play. I don't think none of these starters on the O line. Well, let me see. I think they should start. I think the starters on the O line should start for a quarter, play a quarter. You know what I'm saying? Get their undershirts a little wet because look, they got a little work in to make them feel like okay, this is football, this is real. Um, that D line, I think our defense should just be playing. We should just be playing our defense. Coach Robbie needs to just be tweaking everything that he can. We're not calling blitz. Probably it's going to be pretty vanilla, like you say, his stick. But I think that defense should be out there. And then, like the second half, I want to see Jermod. I want to see Masses, maybe like a quarter each. I want to see Porter play like 2 quarters because I don't even know why he out there. But Brent, I do know why he out there because he's a veteran. So I want to see if he gonna be as advertised when it comes to why they have him there. Because if he start the season there, they're gonna go over there first. They're gonna look around and be like, Darian Porter. Oh, we barbecue chicken. We had him last year for barbecue chicken. I guess this year we're gonna have teriyaki chicken. Let's see if it's teriyaki chicken or if it's fried chicken. Like, what kind of chicken is over there? And hopefully he can make some plays. Because if not, what's gonna happen is Mass is gonna come in and take some snaps. And Mass is aggressive. He with it. He with it. And all he gotta do is get his hands on a ball or two, and then it's over for you, Porter. Because really, at the end of the day, both of you guys are fighting the job back from Jamad McCoy. Because if Jamad come out there and make a couple plays, y'all can make similar plays, but Jamad's going to look better or it's going to be weighed heavier because it's Jamad. And not only that, we got to hurry up and get our money's worth out of Brody anyway. Masses. Sorry. Let's see. Are ones against ones or are they playing against Scout yet? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if one's playing against ones or against Scout yet. I don't know. That's a good question. So, what other expectations you guys have in the game? Do you guys expect Mendoza to play like a half, and then Jacob Clark come in and get some burn too? AOC gonna get some burn. I know we're not gonna be hearing AOC should start. I know. I bet you we don't hear that. But I don't know. You never know. AOC can come in and play well during the off season. I mean, it's preseason. I just think he's on audition, like new edition. That's what I think. So, so Kirk Cuzzo coming in. I think he's gonna come in maybe like a drive and gonna sit him down. Same thing with Genty. Same thing with Bowers. You damn near probably don't even want to play Bowers at all. Players like that, you do not want to put on the field. Let's see. What's up with you, my brother? Eric Rader was good. So let's go over let's talk about the joint practice too. How important do you guys think that joint practice is? Is it more important, would you say, than a regular preseason game, or do you think that it's the same? Maybe because we do have a joint practice with the Texans, and then we have an actual practice game, preseason game against them. Which one of those two games you think are going to be more meaningful to us? Everyone wants to see Mendoza, probably even Kubiak, so we should see quite a bit of him. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think we'll see a lot of Mendoza, a lot of pressure on him. A lot of fans want to see him. I think that the joint practice, although the joint practice they won't be hitting. I don't know if you guys know that, but they won't be hitting. They'll do what they call a stud. So you essentially just run up on the guy and you hit the pads on him, put your pads on him. Hitting like you getting ready to tackle him, but you don't take him to the ground because you don't want to hurt nobody. Generally, those practices aren't videotaped, so you're able to, run more of your offensive plays, more like a regular season game, and it gives you a chance to, go up against other competition. And going up against them is probably going to be pretty good because they have a pretty good defense. So there'll be a good litmus test for where we are. And then when we go out there for the preseason game, we can get a little bit more information about that when it comes to the just tackling. So that's I'm looking forward to the the inner squad practice. I'm looking forward to that. All right, let me just see. Four things that I am tired of hearing, y'all. That we need to no, four things I'm tired of hearing, but I'm about to pay a whole bunch of attention to them this coming in starting tomorrow. Here's four things, one for each one of y'all. This word separation. I am so sick and tired of hearing people use this word separation. There's no separation. There's no separation. Jack Bash, no separation. Dante Thornton. I'm tired of hearing that. So I'm gonna be looking for separation. Jack Bash, and see if you can catch the ball whether you have separation or not. I think you can catch the ball either way with no separation. So I'll be looking out for that separation. And JPJ talk, like, can we kill the JPJ talk? Like, he's not going to be starting. And I'm gonna look and see if there's any kind of indication of that because I'm not seeing like with JPJ, Colton Miller, and Tyler Lindenbaum, and we just get two average players to fill them other two positions, we'll have a top 12 defense. I mean, offensive line. Yeah. Separation is top four. I want to see him play against someone with pads on. Yeah. So, um, the JPJ talk. I want to see JPJ play under control. Hopefully, like the coach has been gaming him up and he's been listening, and you don't go out there and go haywire on him. Hopefully he, is as advertised. I think JPJ is a solid piece on this O line, and we really, really need him for our O line to be really, really good. I mean, like we'll have a good player on the right side, we'll have a good player on the left side, so we don't have to predicate our runs only to the left side or only to the right side because we got a guy in the middle that could pivot either way with the run game. So I'm looking out for the JPJ talk. All right, here we go. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one, y'all. AOC looks good. Look, AOC always look good in preseason. He's always smart in the preseason. He always looked good in the preseason. He's not starting. Sorry. I've been trying to break it to people a long time ago. Sorry, he's not going to start, and he's probably up for sale right now. So he's probably auditioning. So if you want to go out there and you want to get some looks and a chance to start, then he need to go on out there and flame it up and wait for the call. However, I don't think they're going to trade him until closer to the trade deadline. But that don't mean start getting ready at that point. Get ready right now because you might not even get a lot more snaps going in because he's third on the depth chart. I'm like, I thought they was going to at least put him on two. So he's the third. He's third on the depth chart right now. So I'm just saying, best quarterback room in football. Webb says JPJ is one of those two guards. Still not sure which one. I don't think Buford starts or lasts too long. Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost rooting for Buford now though. Because during the presser, I saw him and I'm like, dude, you look like a baller. You look like a player. You look like you should not get punked around. Because I want this O line to be like non-punkable. Because the way your center is how usually they view your line. Like last year, Jordan Meredith soft. That's why they was running through that boy like X-Lax. That's why they had no respect for our O line. None. It was driving JPJ crazy. The boy was crashing out. JPJ was crashing out on top of the mental games that they was playing with him. So consequently, our line looked soft. Miller was gone. And they put Stone Forsythe there. Like what? Excuse me, but yeah, JPJ is one of the two guards. If he's a left guard, then we do for sure running the ball to the left. I just for some reason think he's going to be the right guard, just because that's how they have him on the depth chart. On the depth chart, he's going to be the right. He's the right one with nobody behind him. But Caleb Rogers is over there on the left side behind Burford, Spencer Burford. So Spencer Burford better not look behind him too fat. He better not keep looking behind him because he might get passed up. Just play good. Eric Rader says, "You're exactly right. Any two average old linemen should make this O line above average for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cole Miller is above average. JPJ is above average when he on the field. It's that he keeps getting reduced to average. And Linderbaum is elite. So if you put average and average amongst above average, elite, and above average ish, that tells me y'all above average ish. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's how I'm calling that. Now, the last thing I'm tired of hearing is Mendoza is the overall number one pick. So he should be playing a certain kind of way. He should be a certain something. Just because you're the number one pick does not mean you're going to turn around the franchise in 1 year. We call him the future for a reason because we're gonna use him in the future, and it's gonna take us to the future to get better. Like it's not this year. We're gonna be a better team this year for sure, but we're not gonna get to where where Kubiak is like, okay, cool. All right, let's make these other moves and let's go on and beat their head in. Because if we get let's say 6 or 7 games like a lot of people slotted, including myself, but actually I move mine up to 8 now. But I'm gonna see tomorrow what I if I want to stay there or not. But they Kubiak ain't the type of coach that's gonna be like, "Ooh, we lost 12 games. I'm happy with that." Even though we won twice as many games last year, 12 losses ain't gonna sit right with him. I think think I think uh, Kirk Cousins don't want to have 6 games on his resume. I think he want to bounce out and get like 8 or 9 wins. and make the make the Raiders make a business decision about if they're gonna bring him back next year. Because a lot of people just seem to think it's a foregone conclusion that they're not gonna bring him back. And I'm like, don't be surprised because if we win 8 or 9 games, we're right there. Like, what we gonna do? Go to Mendoza and then win 5 games? It's a lot of things being said about Mendoza. They're gonna get answered tomorrow. Not all of them, but some things. Some things are gonna get answered from him tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see how he plays. I'm excited to see if he's tentative, if he's scared to make decisions, or not necessarily scared, but hesitating to make decisions because he's so in his head. And see, the thing about it is, being like that is you work your way out of that. Sometimes some players don't, but he's probably the type that works his way through that. So that body language that we're going to see early is not going to be the same body language that we're going to see from him later on in either this season or next season. He's just trying to soak it in. He's trying to get the game. He's trying to understand the whatchamacallit. He's trying to do the you feel me. He's trying to get it done. So it's just going to take some time. And I think Clint Kubiak knew that to take some of the pressure off of him. That's the reason why I don't think we're gonna get rid of AOC yet. I think if we are gonna get rid of him, we would have been got rid of him. But no, he has a net positive for us, so we're gonna keep him in the cut. So tired of hearing Fernando Mendoza is not this and not that and whatever, whatnot. Like let the boy mature into his position. We have the luxury of allowing our franchise quarterback to mature in the position. That's something that's really not typical that you allow your franchise quarterback that's number one to sit and mature into the position. It's something we usually don't get. This usually don't happen, period, actually, because they don't have a quarterback that can hold it down like that. We got Kirk Pezzo. Pezzo. Yeah, I was gonna put this one too for number 5 though. Tired of that number one wide receiver turn. Yeah, it was on my list, bro. It really was. I just got tired of saying that. I was like, well, I don't feel like arguing that. Yes, yes, I'm totally in agreement with you on that. Stop saying that. But I'm gonna see how we use our wide receivers. Because see, me, I would like us to liken it to how the Patriots use Wes Walker, Amendola. What was my other guy name? Wes Walker, Amendola, and hey, what's the other guy name? But either way it go, Them guys that was eating like that, little small slot wide receivers was number one wide receivers on the squad, even with Randy Moss on the team. Got more targets and everything because you got to pay attention to him. And if you don't, then he's going to eat up yards on you all game long. Like, Eric Rader said he got a question for the Nando sexuals. Would you give your kids a brand new Benz and he just got his license, or give him a used car until he knows how to take care of the car? So let me tell you, in 2026, people buy their kids Mercedes and let them go and handle their business. You must be old school like me. Because nowadays, you have you seen these proms? Proms are like weddings. Like they're literally spending the same money they would spend at a wedding for a prom. So these idiots, I'm sorry, these soft parenting, new generational parents, they gonna get their kids the Benz. Now to answer the question, would I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I'm with you on that. You must be old school like me. And you must be old school like Frank Webb, because Frank Webb is like the same way. Like, man, would you give your kids a car without making sure the registration was right, the motor was right, insurance, tires, filters? My first car was a Toyota Tercel, little little small Toyota Tercel. It was a four door though. It wasn't in a Benz. I was in a bucket, but I was riding it like it was a Benz. So you right about that prime thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's how they doing it now. These kids walking around with a gang of money, like, and their parents is giving it to them. I'm like, okay, all right. So tomorrow, y'all, is here. The football is here. I don't know. I don't know where we gonna be at. I don't know how we gonna be. Now, I don't care we win or lose the preseason game. I mean, of course, it'd be nice to win because it's always feel good to win. But I really don't care, like if we win or lose. I want to see how we play. I want to see how we coach. I want to see the continuity in the communication. I want to see how. I want to see if Coach Robbie is going to be in the booth or is he going to be on the field. Where you guys think Coach Robbie is going to be? This is a question I had earlier in the off season, and I was like, I think he's going to be in the booth. But now that I think about it, I think he's probably going to be on the field with the players until he gets comfortable where he could the guys kind of know what they expect. Because while he's on the field, he can just go in there and tweak it and be like, "Hey, y'all, hey, we not doing this, and we need to do that," and get him juice because he's really more hands on. So I'm thinking he's going to be on the field. Where you guys think he's going to be at? Where you guys think Coach Robbie going to be? He's going to be up in the booth or he going to be on the field? I think he's going to be on the field. Y'all should hit the subscribe button, man. Because on this channel, I'm telling y'all, we be ahead of the curve over here. Way ahead of the curve. So much that I used to get frustrated talking to other people. And then when I tell them what's around the curve, they still want to believe whatever it is and then say it with their whole chest at whatever they're saying. And I'm like, when this plays out, I would tell you I told you so, but you know what I have for that, y'all. I think we're going to be putting these on a lot this year, the I told you so's. You know, when I put these on, that mean I told you so. Just like Kirk Cousins, in this quarterback competition that everybody thought was gonna happen. Told you so. This ain't gonna be no competition. Plus, anyway, it ain't no competition anyway between them two. Well, it says all year I want to see how competitive we are on the field. I want to see how competitive we are too, but we better win some games. We better win some games because ain't no way that I'm like feeling that we lose 10 games this year. I ain't feeling that. So that would require us to go 8-9 at the least. So 9-8, I would like to see. But if we go 9-8, I'm gonna be mad because I'm like, we right there at the playoffs. I don't think we're gonna go to the playoffs, but I don't know. I'm not saying that we can't. I ain't saying I won't go that far and say we can't. It's gonna be tough. Like I said, I moved it up. I moved it up. I say that we're gonna win. I went from 7 games to 8 games, so I got us at 8 games right now. So, yeah, you showed up late. What up, brother? I know. The Raiders verse is popping right now. Everybody on and excited about this game, and YouTube is messing with my impressions because I was going on live too much. Pizzle said I was the Max Crosby of the Raiders verse. I was literally just going too hard. I was doing too many lives. 68 live streams. So you gotta divide that by two because I do the vertical and horizontal. So there's like 34 in 28 days. So YouTube's like, you spamming us, bro. We're gonna have to shut you down. And that's what they did. So I don't get that many impressions. That's why people don't pop up on my lives like that no more, or my videos no more. So I gotta kind of like retrain the algorithm, and hopefully I can retrain it um, by time the season start. Because the season's gonna start probably like what, 4 weeks. I think it's 3 preseason games, and I think it's 2 weeks in between the preseason game and the regular season game. I believe it says there was 4 Raider streams going on. I was, oh yeah, you was modding in the war room. Yeah, kind of figured that. Kind of figured these guys. Hey, I'm a rookie this year. It's my first year monetized and everything, so I give it to them. Just know in the next couple seasons, it ain't gonna take me a couple seasons. I think especially by the end of next season, it's gonna be on cracking for sure. But hey, it's all good. Shout out to them because they deserve it. They put in the work. I'm like Mendoza right now. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna be humble, and I'm gonna wait my turn. And then when it's my turn, I'm gonna burn straight up, straight up. That's what's gonna happen. So, but I know one thing though that they ain't doing. Nobody doing is that. Let me get this for you. The Fight or Flight Club. That's on Friday, y'all. Friday. It's on Friday. We're gonna have some couple new people on there. New people wanna enter the arena. So we're gonna see what it do. I'll lock them in, but I wanna make sure. And I wanna know, you guys got some topics that you guys wanna know? Any topics that you wanna know? Any questions you wanna know about to ask on the Fight or Flight Club? I was thinking about talking about the AOC fumble. It seemed like we're not all clear about that. Um, I think I think that the record's going to depend on a lot on injuries. Yeah, yeah. FNFOF. What's that? Oh yeah, fight. What? FN fight or flight. I'm slow. I'm slow, Frank. Oh, Friday night fight or flight. Yeah. Yeah, brother, yeah. I messed up though. I was trying to gain ground during this off season by keep going live, and I didn't know that that was going to trigger the algorithm to spam me because I was eating to get because I legit got monetized in 100 days, like straight up. So hey, that's why I started the Fight or Flight Club too, is to get these guys some exposure, on their channels because they might want to hurry up and 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 do their big one because if they don't get monetized by the end of this season, they're gonna be hurt. They're gonna be hurting. They're gonna be mad actually. So, but, it is what a TI is. You feel me? But they're gonna be mad. But make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. I might not be your favorite podcaster yet, but I'm gonna be your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster in this Raider verse. They just low key don't want to say it. It's all good though. It's all good. So hey, tomorrow, let's see if I go in. I'm really, really considering doing the game tomorrow. We'll see what's up with that. Or I might just pay attention and then everybody named Mama gonna do a post game. So I don't want to go on everybody named Mama on. So I don't know. I'm working out. This is my first season. I don't know how it's gonna go. And if my channel wasn't spammed, then I would just get in I would just get in compete, get in where I fit in. But I gotta work with what I got right now. So but I do appreciate you guys. You already know. I appreciate y'all hacking in. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the loyalty. Y'all already know it's one nation. That's the Raider Nation. All day, every day. I'm a Raider. You a Raider. Whether they be from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas.
If you're not a fan, what it do? Marshawn Lynch said, "F you. I'm a Raider."